Hello there and welcome! We are going to do a discussion on Project Scarlett, aka Xbox's new console.
Indeed.
So, Project Scarlett. First off, really cool name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think better than Scorpio. I prefer Scarlet.
yeah, I do as well. I really liked Scorpio. I thought Scorpio was a really cool name and was gutted that it wasn't called the Scorpio. That said, Xbox One X is an acronym for Xbox, which is great.
Yeah.
So, that actually worked out well in the end. But, yeah, Project Scarlett. It's fascinating. Do you want to start?
Okay. Now, here's my big thing about Project Scarlet, and I'm glad you asked me to be in this discussion because I want to mention this.
Okay.
So, Xbox are putting a lot of eggs into the Game Pass, rightly so, because it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
I've used the Xbox Game Pass to get a few games on PC, but now there's a full-fledged PC one, and it's cracking. They also recently released an Xbox One S without a disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
Shush, please, phone. I think that they think that maybe by holiday 2020, we might be ready for not all digital, but a mostly digital. I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox Scarlet leans heavily on digital.
Interesting.
Maybe even not having a disc drive or having a version without a disc drive released maybe a year or two later.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. You're right, I'm glad I brought you on for this. No, that is fascinating. It's a good point you make, because yeah, the Xbox One without the disc drive is really silly because someone opened it up and it's literally the same console, just the disc drive is not there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, I mean, you could have put an extra hard drive in. No, all right.
But again, like the One S without a disc drive is designed for people who have already bought games on PC, like I have.
Yeah.
Like if I bought a discless Xbox One, I could still play a ton of Xbox One games I already own because you buy them on PC and you get them there.
Yeah, true.
And that, I think, is also what they're going to hint towards. And if Xbox do want to end up making this the last Xbox, which there were rumors that this generation was going to be the last one.
Yeah.
So if Microsoft do end up saying, well, this is going to be the last one now, which is fine, because we've made it ridiculously powerful, and we stream games and you can download them as well. So we'll just continue to release games to this definitive system.
It won't be the last. It'll never be the last. There will keep being new technology. Like people were saying that PS4 was going to be the last generation because it can't get any more powerful. And yet here we are, SSDs and more powerful chips. And they said that the Xbox One X is gonna Xbox Scarlet, Microsoft Scarlet, Project Scarlet, Captain Scarlet is gonna be 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One X.
Oh yeah, like I've never bought into the idea that this is going to be the last console generation because I've never bought it. But if Microsoft specifically are going that direction, which I think they could, because they've spent half of this generation making PC gaming and Xbox gaming quite indistinct from each other.
I mean, did you hear how bad Xboxes are doing in Japan?
No, how bad are they doing?
How many Xboxes do you think were sold last year?
Fuck. Last year, I'm gonna ball at 50,000.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 8,000.
I was gonna say something really low.
I'm pretty sure that's around that ballpark, which is insane in a year in Japan, that's huge country.
That's what I mean. Like Microsoft, people keep saying, "Oh man, who's going to drop out of the console race?" Microsoft have the least to lose if they drop out.
Yes.
So maybe they are now
absolutely.
hoping to just have one big console that plays every Microsoft game from now until the end of time.
Maybe. I mean, and that's the beauty of the backwards compatibility they've been setting up. That they can afford to do that with that as well.
Oh, that's vital.
Yeah.
That's so good to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's what Sony needs. It's what Sony needs to learn from that. The thing that it really not backwards compatibility. Sorry, it's late. the SSD really excites me because that to me is the future of gaming. The idea that there will be no loading times, and that's a stretch to a point. There will be games like, maybe not Cyberpunk 2077, but games like it in the future that are insanely big, that there are still loading times.
Like, they'll make a GTA 6 or something.
Yeah. I mean, you still haven't...
take maybe 5-10 seconds to load.
Yeah, you still haven't seen Cyberpunk properly. You need to watch that demo video. It will blow your fucking mind. It is... Seriously, nothing can... Okay, let me... You know how many...
Sorry, I'm still healing over no banjo.
I know. Okay. Let me put it to you this way. You know how many branching paths Detroit has?
Yes.
That's but an open world game.
Ooh.
But with so much more compact in there. And like you've got weapons that are stuff like out of Jak and Daxter and stuff. It's mental. It's literally mental. It's one of the most insane games I've ever seen. Ridiculously ambitious. I think it's been in development for 6 years now. And I'm so glad it's not coming out this year because it isn't ready. There's no way it could be. It's just too big. But like a game like that, they're boasting very little loading screens, or it's done through like an elevator. Similarly to Jak, you go up an elevator or the door opens and that's the loading screen. Similarly to that, that's how it opens the entire open world. Which again, for a game with that much depth and scope and range and differences that can be, is ridiculous. But at the same time, that kind of thing could be shortened by, SSDs and...
SSDs are a real fucking
Kingdom
game
Hearts
changer.
is the one that I always go to as an example. Like, if you play Kingdom Hearts... So, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, it was... Their games on the PS2 and PSP, and then they were released on PS3 as a bundle with Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories 2, and Birth by Sleep, and then they were re-released on PS4. On PS3, the loading screens for screens are around 3 to 4 seconds, or cutscenes, in and out, about 3 to 4 seconds, sometimes a little longer. Going in and out of worlds, 7 to 10 seconds, again, sometimes a little longer, depending on what it's trying to load. PS4, half a second, if that, like, at most. Like, that's being harsh on it. Like, it's so fast. And that's not an SSD, that's just a console generation up.
That's a CPU boost as well, so I'll be interested to see what they do with that as well.
Yeah, so like the difference. I mean, the thing with PS5 as well, like because they announced just recently that PS5 is in the works. It's gonna have an SSD. It's gonna have this kind of thing, and they boasted that and actually showed it off. There was a tweet that actually properly showed it. You've played Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. No.
Have you seen it, at least?
I have seen the video. Okay. Yeah, I've seen the video that they've shown where the loading time is like half a second compared to 8 or 9.
Yeah, so it's more than that. So it's 15 seconds on a PS4 Pro, probably like 20-25 on a PS4, 0.8 seconds on PS5, loading the entire map, all of Manhattan. You can see it all from the tallest building. You can see it all properly rendered. It's all there. And yet it can load it all in 0.8 seconds.
That's a point, and I'm going to bring this slightly back to Scarlett again.
No, please do. It's comparison.
With the backwards compatibility, which they've mentioned quite a lot, and they're laying heavily into, because this is the one thing they've done infinitely better than Sony this generation. Yeah. With hardware which is this much more powerful, I think it's going to be interesting to see whether Microsoft emulate the performance of how it was on Xbox One, Xbox 360, original Xbox, or if they use the hardware that they have now and adapt it. Because there was a video that went around a little while ago when murmurings were going on about PS4 backwards compatibility, which showed a PS2 game running on PS4 in 1080p at 60 frames a second. We found out, obviously, that had to have a download. It wasn't running off a disc.
Yes.
But it could be possible to upscale these things. And I'm curious to see what Microsoft are going to do with that. Just to link it back, because some Xbox One games are already designed to run on Xbox One X.
Yes.
If you put an Xbox One disc in Project Scarlett when it comes out, if it has a disc drive, will it run as if you're playing it on a One X, or will it run as if you're playing it on a base Xbox One?
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see, because they said it could do 120 FPS, like, easily, apparently. I'll
put a pin in that.
But
we can't really hit 60 very well in this generation, so we'll put a pin in that.
Let's just say, like, with Kingdom Hearts switching to 60 FPS, that actually created a horde of glitches.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, when they emulate past games, if it's going to limit it to 60 at best.
Like, because sometimes you are going to have to go into a game and do like a sort of patch or to fix, because
it will break things. Like one of the attacks on the hardest bosses of Kingdom Hearts 1, they like shower meteors and they spin around, but they all like
it comes at twice the speed.
Well, no, they actually like they alternate speeds, so they sort of actually all join together and went in a circle together. It's just like, oh, that's easy to dodge now, but really fast. So it's just like, but it was stupidly fast. It was like 6 times faster than it normally is. So it's just like, okay, cool. That's not normal. And they did a patch and stuff. Sorry to mention Kingdom Hearts for those who aren't interested, but I think it's a good comparison because it is actually something that we've seen change through this technology to a degree. But yeah, it's interesting what Sony have done this year, not showing up to E3. Because it's, in a sense, a very good strategy to see what Microsoft are doing so they can actually change what they're doing to the console before they're, like, flat out, nope, it's definitely this.
I think this is the first time something like that has ever happened. That,
it is.
Like, 2 people at E3 are delivering new hardware, but one of them has just not shown up.
Yeah. And it could shoot them in the foot. Like, it could be a big problem. I will
say as well that, Microsoft's press conference was fantastic. It really was, let's be honest.
60 games, a lot of them
also,
great. Well, I say a lot, all of them.
Where were most of those games going to go if not Xbox? Like, they can't go to Sony. Some of them aren't releasing on Switch.
A lot of them can, a lot of them are indie.
Yeah, but, like, Sony aren't at E3.
Well, yes. So
if they
mean at E3 generally, yes.
I'm saying Xbox had 60 games, and that's fantastic.
Yes.
Like, I'm not complaining by any stretch of that. But at the same time, I think they took a huge advantage of Sony not showing up and being like, well, guys, we'll give you all an E3 show, and if you want to hit us up.
It is interesting, like, in how it works, because I don't know how it works. Who approaches who in that scenario? Because, I mean, I know obviously Microsoft have to source out which ones they want in their conference, but I wonder, do companies go to Microsoft and have the balls and be like, look at what we've done here, can you put us in your conference? Because I wonder how many people's or companies' first choice would have been Sony had they been there.
So do I. That, I think, is the interesting point. And like, this is why it's been such a debate as to who won E3 each year, is because it depends on what company gets what. When Call of Duty showed at Sony's press conference for the first time in years, everyone flipped their lids.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean. But yeah, the business is behind there. Project Scarlett.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation on Project Scarlett, but it's also a conversation on PS5 and Sony versus Microsoft. They are always going to be rivals. And the great thing that it seems to be is that like, they seem to be collaborating more. So Switch and Microsoft or Nintendo and Microsoft are collaborating to do something about bringing Microsoft games to Switch, I think, to a degree, like through Game Pass, I think.
Maybe and Nintendo's E3.
And Microsoft and Sony are doing some cloud save streaming service together through their consoles. So it's just like, they are actually collaborating now. This is important for the industry because it's not just like, oh, this console's better than this. No, they drive each other. One console and a set of games do well, it forces the other company to try and outdo it.
Yeah, definitely. I think linking into that with this collaboration between the companies, Xbox jumping with Nintendo has been huge this last year. I'm curious to see if for PlayStation 5 and Project Scarlett, how much they're willing to compete against each other for Nintendo's approval. And I'm waiting to see how long this lasts. Because, I mean,
in what sense?
no one was desperate to collaborate with Nintendo for exposure on the Wii U, for instance.
True, yes.
So,
but the Switch is something else. It's
exactly. And if there isn't, I mean, 3-4 years down the line, when Nintendo make new hardware, I mean but when, realistically, when they make new hardware, are Xbox and PlayStation now going to immediately jump at the chance because they know how successful it can be with the Switch?
Yeah.
That can also increase Nintendo, because Nintendo have always had bad third-party relationships. They've been bad for that sort of stuff with games. But maybe now with Sony and Microsoft realizing, hey, when we work with the Switch, it benefits us a fuckload more than when we don't. Maybe the next console will too. Yeah. And then immediately jump. Basically, I mean, somehow Project Scarlett is going to make the industry better by existing.
Yes, true.
In a lot of ways. Yes. And that's what this entire conversation is.
I mean, it's fascinating as well, because a really big name in Nintendo, Keanu Reeves, showed up to Microsoft's conference. So, I mean, it's already starting.
Do you not know? They're making a movie about Shigeru Miyamoto, and they've decided to cast Keanu Reeves.
For those who don't know, a French website or publication tweeted that Miyamoto was going to show up in Microsoft's conference, adding fuel to the fire about, oh, maybe Banjo's back or something. But they mistook, because Keanu Reeves looks exactly like Miyamoto. So
they fucked up. They
so
fucked
funny.
Up big guy.
That's one of the best memes of all time. It's amazing.
Fucked up.
But yeah, so
the twist is Phil Spencer is involved in Nintendo's E3 show.
No, that's not true. I'm trying to think of any actor who looks like him. Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, I don't know. I don't know, but it's it's fascinating. We'll have to see what the PS5 can really do, and we'll also have to see, I guess, just if anything changes. I'm kind of expecting, so there's a lot of rumors that The Last of Us Part 2 might be coming out early next year. And there's always been speculation that it will be one of those games where it comes to PS4 but also PS5, like Breath of the Wild did for Wii U and Switch.
Yeah.
If that's the case, maybe the PS5 is early next year, which would undercut Microsoft by a half a year minimum, which is a huge amount of time.
It is. But I don't
Christmas.
know how likely that is.
No, I know, I don't either. At the end of the day, it will all come down to what Sony is willing to do for the PS5. They need backwards compatibility. PS4 is great. The fact that they have PS4 is fantastic, but I don't know if it's enough. I would love 1 through 3 as well. Or at least an option. 1 with, 1 without, if people want it. Like, obviously it'll cost more, but that's because the technology for PS3, PS2, and PS1 is so different from PS4. I'm willing to pay a little more for that. Do it.
Sometimes, like, legacy games have to run on legacy hardware. Like, it happens.
Yeah, that's
and
fair
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I think what's more likely to happen with Last of Us 2 is exactly what happened with the first Last of Us, in that they're going to make Last of Us 2 to be a swan song for the PS4, and it's going to be the most, like, intensive game for the PS4. And then, when PS5 comes out, they're like, okay, guys, let's do this properly now. 144 frames per second, 8K graphics. They're gonna fucking show off, basically.
Not 8, what are you talking about? 60K graphics? How dare you?
60K graphics.
You need an entire, all of E3's buildings for that.
There is a literal zombie in the room for your added immersion and entertainment.
So, question then. How much do you think it's going to cost? The Switch was, I think, $225 when it launched. The PS4, I think, $325. I think maybe it was $275, but PS4 was.
Like, the Switch is fucking expensive now.
PS4 was $325. Xbox, I think, was $425 when it launched.
But Xbox came with Kinect when it launched as well.
Was it forced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was initially. Everyone forgets, but initially it was.
Yeah, everyone forgets, and no one uses it.
Necessary. Exactly, and that's why they then. Well, you don't have to have it anymore, and now we sell it for cheaper.
But
I think
because it can't be, the technology is so much more.
Yeah,
it can't be cheap, but it also can't be too much that it puts people off. it's such a balancing act that's near impossible to get right.
It depends on what Microsoft want to do with it.
Same for PS5 as well.
In the sense that they can make Scarlett a loss leader. Do you know what I mean by loss leader?
No.
So a loss leader, basically, it's like a product which is sold at a loss, but it makes its money back through other stuff involved with it. So you buy the console for maybe 300 and they take £100 loss, for example.
Yeah.
But then you buy another controller and you buy the games online.
$150 custom controller.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, like, how much are they going to lose through EA Game Pass? Because EA Game Pass is fantastic. I love it with every fibre of my soul. But in terms of dollars, $9.99 a month, and you get all the new games for free immediately. That they're losing $60 per game at that point. How? I mean, I know that you're buying a subscription, so technically in 6 months you're making your money back. But they release more than one game every 6 months. So they're effectively losing money at that rate, I guess.
Yeah, but games go on sale like basically a month after they come out anyway. True, so that's assuming that every purchase is at $60.
Yeah, and I guess that someone who wouldn't have bought, say Halo and Gears of War. So there's 1,000 people. Let's say half of them were never gonna buy those two games. Buying Game Pass with those two on it you've got $60 from those people, I guess, who were never gonna purchase it, I suppose. But yeah, it's just such a weird. Yeah, they might do that. I feel like 300 is too low. I feel like they can't.
I feel like 300 is definitely too low. I think if they're gonna make it a loss leader, I think they'll pitch it for like 350, maybe 400, 375.
Yeah.
But
if they don't, 450. Maybe 500.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Because how much was PS3 at launch? It was quite a lot. It was what, 300?
Oh,
500. Sorry.
Yeah, it was like but they learned their lesson immediately with that.
They did.
And also, like, Microsoft are losing, so I think they need to be more competitive.
Yeah. And
I think they're going to try and be. I think 500 is a stretch. I think between 400 and 450 is going to be a safe bet.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then if they are making a loss, it can't be a massive loss.
How much can you actually? This is in pounds, by the way, for people who are.
Dollars.
Yeah. I'm just gonna quickly check how much can I buy an Xbox One X right now. How much on Amazon?
Like 300, I think, isn't it?
$359 for an Xbox One X 1 terabyte. Like that's less than obviously the Xbox One was when it launched. How much is just a standard Xbox One?
Oh, they're like $199.
Wow, yeah, they're $186. They are cheap.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
And that's what I mean. I don't know at this point if they're selling these cheap Xbox Ones as loss leaders or if they're still making a profit on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, that might be a way they take Scarlett. They might say, look, we sell it at a loss, but we make it up when people buy games through Microsoft Store. Which they might have to if we don't have a disk drive, etc., etc.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see.
Yeah, the industry is actually going to change in one of the biggest ways it ever has, and I don't think anyone sort of predicted this. Because how could you see this coming? Like, we thought that SSDs was just sort of impossible in consoles for a long time because it's so expensive, and yet here we are. It's
to be fair though, as well. These are like custom SSDs.
They're custom.
That's even more
PS5,
so. They're optimized.
Yeah, the PS5 has said it's better than anything you can get for a PC.
Yeah, they are optimized specifically for this hardware.
Yeah,
and
so it's really,
cannot wait
really
to see what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Yeah, this next generation of consoles is gonna be ridiculous, and it's gonna be interesting to see if Nintendo actually suffers as a result. And obviously Nintendo have always had and always will have the games to back them up. That's why people buy Nintendo consoles. They don't necessarily buy Nintendo for the ultimate hardware, although the Switch, being portable and as powerful as it is fucking incredible. But the tantalizing idea of no loading times at any point in your game, or with the exception of maybe booting the game up, is so good that having none. Say you play Sony.
That's a point as well. Sorry.
So what?
I just thought of something as well as you mentioned that, right?
Okay. Go on.
You said loading screen most realistically is on boot up, and that's right. If you're loading from a disk,
Yeah,
how big is
true.
the hard drive going to be?
Yeah, it's true. Probably a 2 terabyte, maybe more.
They might not benefit as much from reading from a disk because it's only as fast as the laser and the disk drive itself.
Yeah, that's true. It depends
So
on the technology,
this
I
goes back
suppose.
to the point I made at the start, where I think they are going to try and push harder than ever for digital
But
this next generation.
yeah, possibly. But going back to my point, like, say
Yeah,
someone
sorry.
plays Sony and Nintendo equally, like they play a whole week of Sony and then a whole week of Nintendo, like in that order specifically. You
Yeah.
play a week of Sony, say, let's say 10 to 15 hours in that week of Sony. At no point do you experience a loading screen besides, say, 3 seconds when you boot up the game. Then you go back to Nintendo. You have a 10-second boot up time. Now that's not that long. But compared to nothing, that seems like an eternity. You get adjusted to nothing. How much is that going to affect Nintendo? That's the new problem now. The fact that there will be no loading times makes loading times seem even longer. And it is gonna, like, I mean, I personally don't mind long loading times. I've endured it. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, going to Kingdom Hearts again. Critical mode is brutally hard. You will die a lot. I died over 200 times in my playthrough, and I'm half decent at the game. But when each time you die, there's like a 30-second loading time.
Fuck. Nah, I wouldn't even.
It's long. You feel it. I'm patient. I can endure it. I don't care. But some people can't. And other games don't have that kind of loading screen. So having like a 3-second loading screen in one game and a 30 in another, it feels really long. It may not necessarily be as long or that long, but it feels it, and that's the problem that Nintendo might face. Not saying it will, because it's always going to have the games, it's always going to have good business practices.
Oh, definitely.
But it will be interesting. It's going to be a very different shift in the gaming industry in a way we have never seen and may never see again. With the exception of, I guess, VR games go straight to your brain integration or something, I don't know.
Jesus.
That kind of thing terrifies me. Like, the fact that you could be able to pay just by thinking it.
That's a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen, dude.
But
Seriously.
like, it's like you know how like people can hack phones and people can hack like even your credit card. Like, oh, I'm just gonna swipe across you or whatever, and like, oh, I've bought something or whatever. Like, eventually someone is just gonna randomly learn how to hack someone's brain just because they've got some kind of random gift. Like, it's gonna happen. Just someone will learn. There's so many people. Someone is gonna figure it out, either accidentally or not. It's the worst thing. Like, anyway, we were talking about Project Scarlet.
Sleep well, everybody.
Captain Scarlet, save us.
Have nightmares.
But it's true though.
That's it.
Like,
that's
yeah, just that's the end.
But to be honest, I think at this point, knowing as little as we do, I think we've said really all we can.
Yeah, but I think it's been a good
speculation.
discussion. I think
Oh,
I think we've both raised some good, interesting points. You more interesting, but we've both raised interesting points. If you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, share the video around so other people can weigh in on the discussion. Are you excited?
Also, please check me out because I am sad. I need views. Hello.
Hi. Yeah. Link in the description. Link to Twitch, Twitter, subscribe, all that stuff. Patreon, yeah. Rent, good stuff. Anyway,
In it.
Tell me, are you excited for Project Captain Scarlet? Are you? That's a old British TV show for people who don't know.
That's so fucking niche.
Yeah, it really is. It's super niche.
You're lucky I got it.
It's so much nicher than Thunderbirds. But anyway, are you excited for it? Which one are you going to go for? Are you going to go for PS5? Are you going to go for Project Scarlet? Are you waiting to see more before you want to weigh in? Just tell me what you think. But thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.